Welcome back to Scavenger Workshop. I am going to show you guys how to put the skin on your Scavenger battery box. So this is the completed one I did earlier this week. I kind of rushed this one, so it's not entirely perfect, but if you do take your time and do it right, you can get an amazing battery box done from Scavenger Workshop. Okay, so here we have is the inner frame. This is the inner structure on how everything gets put together. What you're gonna wanna do is you're gonna make sure all your screws, your nuts are in the slots prior to doing this. And you might wanna use a little glue, hot glue gun. One of our members has done that and said it works out really well. Or you can use a little center punch and kind of punch it on each side so they don't back out. Furthermore, for these pieces here, when you're doing your assembly, what you're gonna wanna do is put a little E6000 in between each one of these three plates here, and then clamp them together before you ascend them to this big oval piece. That way you can sand this side with a grinder smooth so it looks really flush. I didn't do that on this because, like I said, I'm just trying to get these out so you guys have an idea of how to assemble this stuff. So, all right, so let's get started. So what you want to do is you're going to want to take your skin like this. This is this huge skin, and then you want to bolt it down with these long ones here to these bolts right here. This is just gonna hold it down, hold it in place until we get it to where we want. So you're gonna push the screw through, and then on the back side, you're gonna put your nut. Well, I lost the nut right here. You're gonna wanna do it to both sides. That's one. Let me grab the other one. Now, as you're doing this, on the first pass, you do not want to countersink these holes yet, because you're basically you're gonna be tugging and bending on this metal. If you countersink them, you may pull the screw completely through. This one's having a little bit, there must be some burrs on the inside of this. All right, so we're not gonna countersink them right away. Later on, I'm gonna show you how to countersink these holes with this countersinking bit. So let me go ahead and put another nut on this side. As you can see, it's right here, it comes straight through. Doesn't have to be super tight, just so that way it keeps the plate aligned. And the next thing we want to do is you're going to want to get these shorter ones like these, and we're going to put them right here. All right, you're going to screw them down, but you don't want to over tighten them, because if you strip out that head, you're going to be in trouble. And do that to both sides. All right. Now, as you can see, the skin's on there, bolted down pretty tight, it's flush. Optional, you can stick these two in too, just so that way it doesn't, you'll have to use the long screws because these go a little bit deeper. But you can do this just to give it a little more you know, prevent it from trying to lift up. And like I said, you don't want to over tighten them because these things are so easy to strip out. And then you have to drill it out and you're gonna mess up your skin and everything else. So take your time, don't go all the way down, because once you've got it all formed and bent correctly, then you're gonna go ahead and countersink those and put them into the final depth. So now that it's attached, and it's attached pretty firmly, you wanna grab your skin, your frame like this, and what you're gonna do is you're gonna bend up, rolling it around the skin, just like this, right? And while that's rolled like that, you're gonna take one of your little screws and you're gonna put it in the side here, right? And pin it down. Problem here. All right, let's see. So let me try again from the side here. It should line up okay. There it is. You heard me, I might have stripped it out a little bit, but yeah, you want to go slow. So what was happening was when I was bending it, there was a gap here. So we're gonna do this side as well. Hold it like this. Stick your screw in. Okay, this screw is definitely stripped. This is probably one of the other ones I used originally, because you're gonna tear up a few screws when you're doing this. And I'm sure my okay, that's in there. Yeah. All right. Now that we have it bent this far, we're gonna turn it back over and we're gonna bend it down some more. You'll notice that as you're bending it, this part's kind of bowing out. We're gonna fix that after we get the initial bend. Right now, all we're doing is trying to shape it to the way we need it. So that being said, you're gonna push down on there. You kind of use some weight, your weight on it, and then pin this one here, right here. Right. Do that for the other side. This one must be torn up as well. When we come back and we put the screws back in there, it's going to be easier because when you countersink them, these holes aren't going to be so tight. Right now, yeah, that one's screwed up too. I need to remember to throw the ones away that I've chewed up. All right, so now it's pinned up to this point. All right, so from this point on, we can put another screw here just to hold it down in place a little bit better. That didn't go in there, that went south. like I said, these screws, once they're countersunk, they'll go in there like butter. All right, I'm gonna skip this one. Let's try and get the thing completely shaped the way we need it to. So from this point, we're up to this point here. We're gonna wrap it around this piece here, just like that, using the thing to form it. All right, so as you can see, we're about at this point here. You can hold it down like this. Drop a screw in here. I need to get a better bit because I think I'm chewing this bit up. Or I think I need to, let's do this. Let me try and find a drill bit where I can open these holes up just a tiny bit. Because, let me see here. Because it is definitely biting down. Right here. It's getting stripped before it even gets past this hole, because the hole is so tight. Yeah. Give me 1 second. All right, let's try this. So you may want to use a bit that's the same size as the screw, and just pilot the holes. Because I think what it is, there's a burr in there that's causing it to not going correctly. And also, when you curve it, it's gonna bite down a little bit as well, because we're curving it. Let's see if I can bend it around this side. Okay, so don't worry about it flexing and bowing. It's just gonna do that until we really get in there. So that screw's coming out. So what I'm gonna do at this point, right here at the bottom, right here, I'm gonna hold it down and just give that a tap, and give that corner a tap just to get it in there to where it needs to be. And then I'm gonna unscrew everything, and then we're gonna finish off the bends. All right. that's why I was saying, be careful, because some of these screws will get stuck in there if you strip them out. These M3s are notorious for the head stripping, you know. But we'll get it. We're gonna yeah, see. I think my bit too is probably, I've used this bit so much. Let's try and get it all apart. Maybe if we get the carbon steel M3s, it'll be better than these stainless steel ones. I don't know. Alright, I'm glad we were able to get it apart. So set your inner frame aside, and then we're gonna work on this piece right here. Let me see if I can get this out. Alright, so now that you got the initial bend the way it needs to be, so that way you have an idea of how it needs to be bent. We're gonna finish it up. So what you need to do at this point is get a piece of pipe. You can buy these from at your local hardware store, and then you're gonna want to put your pipe in there, and at this corner right here, this point right here is where you're gonna want to hold it down and put the pressure on it like that, and then just roll it as you're bending it around. Right here. Make sure you do it evenly, and you can see we're starting to get it more along that shape that it needs to be. Kind of just roll the pipe down as you're bending it, right? The same thing for this side, but with this side, you're gonna have to hold this part right here and kind of, there may be better ways of doing this, but this is the way I did it for the initial one. You want to try and get this thing flat too, so keep an eye on this piece. So you just keep holding it against the pipe and just pushing down, right? And if you look at the side, you see we're starting to come closer and closer to what it needs to be. Just go slow and make little micro adjustments on where you need them to be, because overall, it's going to be the screws that are going to keep it where it needs to be. So just keep doing this until it's pretty much like at this point right here. keep working that form, right? Just like that. Keep working. It's gonna look a little odd, but once you get it in there and you tap these gently with a mallet, you can get it to where it looks almost perfect, right? So don't stress too much about it. Just make sure this part's flat right here. All right, so another thing you want to do is on this back curve right here, because we don't have a support there, it may gap from the pressure. So if you put a negative bend in it, like this, across here, the screws will pull it in. So just kind of give it a little negative bend there. So when these screws pull down, it's going to be flat, right? So overall, this is what we have. Let's go ahead and see if we can fit the piece back in here. See how I'm pushing it? It's kind of bending outward there. So we need to correct that, make an adjustment to that. So we're at this point right here. We can go ahead and start putting the screws back in and countersink them. So take those long screws again and then just drop them in here. These are just going to hold the skin in place until we can start pinning it with the outer screws. All right. So yeah, so that's in place now. So now this is very important as you're doing your countersink for your holes. You want to go very slow, right? And test it as you go. Remember, this is it's not a marathon. You're not trying to rush to meet any deadlines. Just get it in there when you got an idea. You don't want to go too deep, because if this hole gets too wide, the screw will pull through the head of the screw, and then you'll have to order another skin. Skins aren't too terribly expensive by themselves. It's like 30 bucks, but if you can avoid it, why not, right? Oh wait, this is the long screw, ain't it? Yeah. That's not gonna work. So let's drop a long screw in there. Screw it down and kind of rub your finger over it. If you still feel the head, you want to go just a little deeper, right? That's why I'm saying take your time with this, because you can mess this up really easy. Okay, yeah, that feels so good. It's not so much important on the inside, because this is going to be on the inside of your droid, so you don't have to focus on this too much, but it'll give you good practice to get it where it needs to be. sure you blow out your holes in case there's any of that burr gets into the nut. You don't want it to bite down in there and your screw won't be able to go in. Usually you should be okay. Go ahead and drop this one in here. All right, yeah, that one's pretty flush. So that's the first two. Now we're gonna take these out, and we're gonna countersink these as well. And just slowly work from one side to the other, forming and pinning it as you go. Because as long as you get this side tight, and when you're coming around this curve, everything else should line up just fine. So I'll drop that in there. Like I said, once you countersink these holes, your screws go in there a lot easier because the hole gets a little bigger. All right, that feels good. I can feel it a little bit on this side, but like I said, this is the inside, so I'm not really too concerned. All right, that one's in there. Let's do this one. We try our best to design these things to make assembly as smoothly as possible for you guys with the basic amount of skills. So. Continue to go slow, testing your screw as you go. And the most important thing is not to strip it out, because you will have to drill this sucker out to get it in there. You know, to remove the screw if it goes in there cockeyed. All right, that's that one. All right, so now we're gonna pin this one down right here, and as we go around, we're gonna just tap this and try and kind of get it to fit a little bit better. You can always remove it and you know, kind of straighten it out or rebend it if you come into a problem. So. This screw is totally screwed. I'm running out of these little screws because I tore up so many of them. You know, when I did the first battery box. So a lot of them have bad stripped out heads. Looking through my screws, I might run out soon. Like I said, it's probably better not to use this to do this, because when it comes at the when it gets to the end, it'll bite down and it could tear up your screw hole. So as you notice, it's like a little crooked here. Just get your rubber mallet, the soft side, and just kind of tap to form it. And then we're gonna try and get it in there as straight as possible. This side might need a little tapping. All right, let's see. Okay, so you see how we've pretty much cinched it up here, right here. So you're gonna keep just going around the entire thing, trying to get it as tight as possible. Like I said, if you have to remove it to readjust some bends, you can. Fixing it before you try and wrestle with it or beat the piss out of it is much better than you breaking something and having to reorder. These skins are very tight, so trying to get it to go all the way around and forming and then meet up on this other end is going to be a little bit of a struggle. But, you know, just go very slow. Take your time. You will get it. It's slightly more difficult than I would say the skirt, just because of you're wrapping this entire thing. And originally, this is how I had planned to do the legs. For the curvature on the legs, I wanted to do a wraparound based on this method, but we opted to just do the layered pieces because it was a lot easier for you guys. You know? Yeah, see, I went a little too deep on that one. That one may pop out. But when I pin it here, I'm not gonna go too hard on it, but when I pin it here, that should help it prevent it from popping out. So basically all I'm just doing is kind of trying to form it to this thing. Sometimes you'll actually have to tap it this way to adjust it. We are on to this part right here. So we're at these points. All right. Okay, remember, don't go too deep with them. Test and then pull the screw out and then try again if you have to. Yeah, that needs a little bit more. Don't go too deep. All right, I'm gonna let this one be for now. It's at a slight angle. I'm gonna put the other ones in there, and tighten them down and see if it corrects itself. Right now, it's starting to look really good. That one. So I feel it kind of hit on this edge on both of these sides. So I think the screws are kind of going at an angle this way, which means I have to tap it that way. And now they're kind of flush. So this one is as well. There's no support in here, so just come in the inside like this, right here, and just give it a tap. Yeah, that's better. That fits a lot better. So I'm gonna come back to these and then maybe drill them a little bit more. But let me move on to these and try and pin them, because the skin is so tight. You're trying to get the holes in the center of where the screw is. So. That one feels good. All right, so here's where we're at so far. All this is looking really good. I can come back and just gently tap this with the mallet to kind of smoothen that curve off a little bit. But I'm gonna go ahead and do these now. And then we're gonna tap it a little bit and see if we can get the rest of this to come down the way it needs to come down, okay? Let's see here. Take a screw. All right, that's in there. Let's do this side. Make sure you get a lot of these screws. You're gonna damage a lot of them. Okay. All right, I probably have to come back and countersink that one a little more. All right, so. So this curve right here is not coming down the way it should. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna lean my weight onto it like this. Just tap it. Because once we get the screws in place, it'll look really nice. It'll hold its shape. All right, so got that side in. Now we're going to get this side. So we almost got it around this corner. If you want to use C-clamps, try and help you with get it formed, you can, which is something I may do. Because this edge right here, it's a little off kilter, which will be fine once, if I just get this screw in here and then I put these other screws in, then I can make adjustments. So let me see if I can pull it. Yeah. I got screwed up. Okay, let's hold that for now. Let's see if I can pin this down. Like I said, if I can pin this down, we're where we need to be. So here's the problem right here. See that little bend? I think this bend needs to be adjusted a little bit. So let me see if I can tap that. So, yeah, that's not bad. See, let me see if I can get a C-clamp in there just to hold it down. Yep. I'm probably gonna have to take it all apart and adjust this bend a little bit more. Let me see if I can get this screw out. All right. Well, we're almost there. I'm gonna take it all apart, get this curve a little bit better, because see, it's buckling here too, which means it's not gonna really go straight. So we'll come back. All right, so after a lot of cursing and rebending a little bit right here, I decided to come from this way around, so that way I can tap it a little bit and try and get the alignment a little bit better. So I came around this way, and then I started pinning it up on this side. Like I said, once you get it all pinned up, you can go back and redo these screws to make them fit better, because once it's all aligned, then you can kind of take your rubber mallet and gently tap it around the sides, just so that way the curve is where it needs to be. So my driver has not charged. I've been just putting the screws in by hand, so they haven't been going in all the way down flush. I'll take care of that off the video. So it's just a few more screws and it should be done. Okay, this one's stripped out. You can tell the ones that are stripped, they don't even bite down on the bit, you know, they just spin. So like I said, I went through so many of these screws doing this, you know, because these M3 screws are just god awful. The heads will get torn up so easily. All right, like I said, I will just, these little gaps right here, I'll gently tap them into place to get them to fit a little bit better, right? But that's the overall look of it. So there it is. That's the Scavenger battery boxes. I'll give you guys a general weight on how much this thing weighs, so that way you can compare it to the club spec one. It's better to make an informed decision. If you guys are looking for a lightweight droid, you're probably not gonna want to go with the Scavenger parts, because you know we're sacrificing the cost and the ability for you to assemble it yourself for weight, because our designs require a lot of inner structures to bolt stuff to. So yeah, if you're looking for a lighter droid, go with the club parts. If you're looking for a more affordable droid, you know, come hang out in our group. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and wrap it up here. You guys, happy building.